What's up again, people? Here we are with the first of the healer job respective guides, and this is going to be covering Astrologian. And if you are looking for general healing gameplay tips and guidance, head over to my video about Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood in-depth healing guide, as that will have all the general stuff, and this is going to be such as, like additional skills, traits, general gameplay, and this is going to be diving into the job-specific tools that you have available for each healer. And I've been hearing some talk about them bringing out some balance changes soon-ish, but that will hopefully deal with Astrologians as well, like make them better in a sense. But I still wanted to delve into this, not wait for those changes that hopefully happen and hopefully fix Astrologians. But yeah, let's get into the guide. So Astrologians, in all honesty, are without question the weakest of the three healers. They aren't complete garbage, but in comparison, they aren't that great. And otherwise decent kit has some good ideas in it. Is somewhat weird, like ruined in a sense, with weird additions and skills in there that feel out of place when looking at and comparing it to the competitors' well-rounded kits. And out of all the healers, I feel like it is the most, it is the most fun and enjoyable kit and healer to mess around with, but that's just about it. Which is kind of a shame, because as an Astrologian main, that kind of feels bad, man. And like the concept of having an on-demand instant cast heal after casting every benefit is a great idea, and you can use it for multiple purposes, which that also is a great thing, and a great tool to play around with. But it kind of falls flat on its face when it is really supported by nothing. And why do I say that? And what makes me say that is because you really only have pure healing. You don't have any regions, you don't have any shields, is what I kind of mean. And the only small tool helping you heal more is Synastry, which is a great tool, but that's really your own tool. And Lightspeed, for example, is great for mobility and MP efficiency, but it does little when you are not getting pressured and someone else is absolutely getting hammered on. It does little to keep the other person alive, because you're not healing more with that, basically. Whereas Scholar and White Mage, Scholar has shields basically baked into the heals. Fairy on-demand heal feels to help with that as well. White Mage has everything, for whatever reason. They have Protect. Sure, you have Disable as well, which is the same potency of decreasing damage, but Protect is on a target. That decreases all incoming damage, and Disable only decreases a single opponent's damage by 20%. And it is sort of harder to use as well, whereas Protect, you just slap it on someone, boom, done. And you also have Regen ticking on the background, helping you heal even better a single target, for example. But yeah, that's like the general synopsis, I guess, about Astrologians, but let's get straight into the skill. So, your skills, and starting off with Benefic 1, and this should be the main heal you use majority of the match outside of the enemy burst windows, obviously, when you don't need that big of a heal. And it is especially important to use and utilize as much as possible because of the proc fishing. And what do I mean by that? After every cast, you get a proc called Abridged, which makes your next cast instant. It can be used on a heal, or it can also be used on Malefic 3. And that can be used both offensively and defensively, which, is a great synergy right there and a great tool. That's one of the good ideas of the kit. So Malefic 3, you can use the proc both offensively, in a way, like if you got a proc ready and you see a target retreating and your team is chasing them, you could bind the target for an easier chase for your team. Or a good example is binding the opposing paladin who is covering a target that is getting heavy focus from your team, hopefully breaking the cover and earning you a kill that way. Also, you can use it defensively when you cast a heal on your target, and then immediately after use Malefic 3 on the people chasing that target or chasing you to give you some breathing room and for you to get away. So that is a great synergy that you have, and you know, even without a proc, you can use it as a casted way to get someone off your team or just chase someone down or get someone off of you. But it is kind of more risky to use as a cast heal or cast skill. Benefit 2 is, you know, your strong and expensive heal. Pretty self-explanatory. Really don't need to go into this. And then we get into Essential Dignity, which is a crazy powerful heal that is on an unbelievably short cooldown of 10 seconds. And it also scales off of how much your target has left, HP left. So the lower the target's HP, the more powerful it gets, up to 300% increased potency, which, you know, is nuts for such a short cooldown. It is a great tool to top off 2 people at once. You cast a Benefit 2 on someone else that is low in health, and then immediately after, you know, letting someone else drop a bit lower in health, you cast Essential Dignity, boom, you know, they're back up in health. Or it can also be used as an extra burst health topper, burst heal health topper, so you can cast a heal and then immediately after use Essential Dignity to get some burst healing going on. So yeah, that's Essential Dignity, a pretty good tool in all honesty. And then we get into one of the worst ideas of the kit, and this is one of those things that really does not support the kit almost at all. So Deorbit. This is one of those skills that is like truly useful once in a blue moon, and whereas the other healers, and it does not really play into your active decision making in a match, whereas the other two healers, all of their skills, all of their tools really have like used in every single match and like have used in your active decision making. But yeah, the uses of Deorbit. You can use it to pull your overly aggressive teammate that is chasing someone down way too deep into like an enemy base or something, only for them to come back to you, nice job, and then run straight back in and die. You know, that's what happens almost 80% of the time. One plus side to this skill is it does let your team kind of pull off ballsier move, dive deeper into the enemy team and their backlines if the healer is staying back a lot. But none of that really matters because it is unusable in that sense without proper communication and coordination, which we do not have. Hashtag bring back the chat. A good idea really does, like, the skill is a good idea that rarely works in practice, and it's a good idea on paper, really. And hopefully this gets removed or replaced with a skill that has more impact in your active decision making in every single game instead of this one. Synastry is one of those great skills and tools that you have in your kit, and what it does is, and how it works, is 25% of your original heals get transferred over to the Synastry target. And what that means is that it is a great single target healing tool, because effectively the target that you are healing, if they are under Synastry, get a 125% heal because the extra Synastry bit gets added on top of your original heal. Or it is a great spread pressure tool. So you can use it for multiple purposes. And overall, like, it's a great tool to have, and I'm glad it went from a cooldown back in Heavensward to a static buff that you switch around your party, and you always have it on. I think that offers more gameplay opportunities, and I think that's a great quality of life for Astrologians in PvP. Lightspeed is a skill that gives you instant casts for 50% of the original mana for 10 seconds. And this is a great skill for MP efficiency. Also, it gives you great healing on the go when you need to reposition and you're probably getting harassed or CC'd by the tank at the same time when you need to pump out like big heals on someone else getting pressured. That's mainly what it's used for, really. Then we get into your cards and the skill called Draw, which, you know, draws a card. and I'm really stressing this. Focus on using it on cooldown, really, because every use and every draw restores 1k MP, which really does help with your MP efficiency. I see a lot of Astrologians, like say, well, a lot of Astrologians, the ones that maybe have tried it or played it, say that they have trouble with mana. And when I look at like how they play, they really do draw super randomly and rarely. And I need to stress this, that you need to pull on cooldown every time. Balance. Let's get into actual cards then. Balance and Ball are pretty straightforward, you know, and they're good cards. Balance increases damage dealt, and Ball decreases damage taken. And then we get into the two cards that are, in my opinion, pretty gimmicky. And Spire restores TP, and you know, you basically just slap it on a DPS that's missing TP. Done. Ewer is 100% of the time on yourself, and it helps with your MP efficiency a bit. But my suggestion, in all honesty, is no matter how one-dimensional this change would make the cards, is to remove Ewer and Spire altogether, or replace them with some cards that have more impact. And my own suggestion would be something like Lord and Lady. Like I think that would make sense in a sense, like those cards really do have more impact than Ewer and Spire, and are more useful, and it would make every card draw feel like a useful piece of active gameplay, because you're not drawing something like, you know, Spire. You feel like, oh, I drew Spire, like fuck this, you know, just slap it on the DPS and be done with it, you know. So I think that would, you know, something needs to be done about Ewer and Spire, in my honest opinion. And Lord and the Lady, I think, would be a great change. One thing to note though about cards and the draw is that the draw cooldown starts the second you draw the card, not when you throw it. And this means you can get two cards running on the party at once, and especially useful at the start. So you can pre-pull a card at the start, about like 25-ish seconds before you anticipate an engagement, and then you throw the card, and in a couple of seconds you'll have another card. It's also a great quality of life change that they gave to Astrologians in PvP, because it doesn't mess up you wanting to use the skill for more MP, and you can sit on the card for a while. You don't need to instantly throw it. So I think that's a really great quality of life change they gave in Stormblood. And in conclusion about like all of your abilities, I think the things like Bridge, Light Speed, and Synergy are great ideas and tools in the kit, but pretty much supported by nothing too substantial or useful. Something to replace the Orbit, and then some changes or just straight up removal of Ewer and Spire would, in my opinion, make like the kit already like a much better kit. Depends, of course, what the Orbit gets replaced by, but you get the point. Right, and then your general gameplay and what you should be focusing on in a match as an Astrologian, and sort of like my general tips about playing Astrologians. And your gameplay really does revolve a lot around fishing for those abridged proc as often as you can. What this allows you to do is use the peeking tactic that I was talking about in my general healing guide as like in the most effective way of all the three healers. And it will also help you prepare for those inevitable CC chains that you get hit by, as you will have an instant heal plus possibly an Ascension Dignity ready to go the second you get out of CC. And this is what you should be doing 100% of the time. Like always try and make sure you have a proc on you when the tank is sticking to you, or just swapping to you. So if the tank is sticking to you, try and make sure you have a proc on you as often as possible, or if they swap on you, prepare a abridged proc ASAP. Because that usually means that the enemy TPS might be starting their burst, but it's just a safety measure anyway. Also, about Essential Dignity, you really should not use it on a whim or recklessly, or like as an HP topper unless you really, really need it. Because this can really turn into a super bad habit of you using it on a whim, and when you'd want to actually be saving it for a situation where you really need it, such as staggered bursts. Sure, it's on a 10-second cooldown, but in those following 10 seconds, that monk that was just bursting could have saved a little part of his burst in hopes of you wasting every single one of your cooldowns and not having anything to do with the remainder of his burst. So do keep that in mind. Synastry is, generally on the target that is taking the most damage in your team, to get those extra strong heals on them, to keep them as healthy as possible. But it can also be used against dot heavy jobs such as Summoner and Bard, to use it on someone who is only taking dot damage while you're healing the main kill target that the opposing team is going for. About Disable, as awkward as it can be to use it and as hard as it can seem to use it, and I'll throw the macro to easily use it on the screen again from my last guide. You need to use it as much as possible. You need to use it on cooldown when there is a burst happening from the enemy team, because a 20% damage cut on anyone really is still significant, even if it lasts 6 seconds and it's just on one damage source, aka 1 DPS. And as an Astrologian, like, your GCD management is extremely important because of your semi-lacking kit, and you will really, like, if you start messing up your GCDs, you will fall behind in healing very fast, and you will get shit on also really fast, because all you really have is keeping your team alive is your pure healing and your heals. There's no shield mitigation or regions that are keeping your team alive while you are being hit by CC or just in general unable to heal. And so one messed up GCD could mean instant death. So GCD management is extremely important for Astrologians. So that's kind of like stuff that you should keep in mind when playing Astrologian, and kind of like my tips on how to play and my general guidelines on how to play Astrologian. My overall thoughts and kind of like TLDR about Astrologians. So like I said at the beginning of the video, and I'll be saying, it is the weakest of the 3 healers. However, it is not completely trashed here or completely unviable, so you can still find success with the class. However, saying that, the other 2 healers do have an answer for pretty much everything, and they are like 5-trick ponies, where you have 1 trick, and that is your mobility, and that is not supported by much. And you really do need to work a lot harder to achieve similar results as the other 2 healers, and even then, they can do it a bit better. So yeah. Deorbit really needs to go, get replaced by something else to make the kit overall better, and make it more impactful, and have something that has more impact in your active gameplay. And Astrologian as a healer requires you to be on point with your healing. You really can't start messing up your GCDs or whatever else, because those situations really do snowball into a kill extremely easily if you start messing up. So even saying that, and other than that, like, it's a super fun healer and a super fun kit to play around with, that has some interesting and good ideas in the mix, and interesting synergies as well with Abridged. But ultimately, it feels lacking and all over the place, and it feels like it's missing like 1 or 2 changes or key components to really glue it all together and make it into a solid kit. But yeah, that is it for the guide, and I thank you for watching. Hope you found it useful. If you did, do leave your like, comment down below about questions, thoughts, whatever. If something was left a little bit, like if you were left confused about something, or you just want more clarification on the topic. Subscribe for more content. White Mage and Scholar guides are next. White Mage is next, I'm pretty sure. But those will take a bit longer than this one, as Astrologian is something that I know like the back of my hand, whereas those I still need to kind of get the whole picture to make those guides. So yeah, look forward to those. I thank you for watching again, and please have an amazing day. See you in the next video. Take care, guys.